Hello, I'm Antonio Mora. This is the newsandnews.com Day in Brief on Monday, January 22nd at about 6:30 p.m. The government shutdown is hurting millions of Americans, directly or indirectly, and in a broader way, it's affecting all of us. Estimates say that for every week the government remains partially closed, U.S. GDP drops by 1/10 of a percentage point. If the shutdown doesn't end tonight, federal workers will miss a second paycheck. A weakened economy could also hurt President Trump's 2020 electoral campaign because it would take away one of his most important talking points. The Senate will consider dueling proposals to reopen the government on Thursday, something optimists believe is a glimmer of hope, but more realistically, it's much ado about nothing. The Republican measure will call for $5.7 billion for the wall and extend legal protections for Dreamers for 3 years. In the unlikely event that some Democrats join Republicans and pass it, there's no chance the House will. The Democrats' measure is a continuing resolution to fund the government for 3 weeks without money for the wall. Trump and Republicans have said that is a non-starter. The White House seems to be calling Speaker Pelosi's bluff, saying it is moving forward with plans for a State of the Union address. The president cannot speak in front of a joint session of Congress without both chambers giving explicit permission. If that permission isn't forthcoming, the White House is preparing for alternatives, including a speech to the Senate alone, an Oval Office address, or a political rally. Pelosi should fold in order to avoid looking petty, but Trump should reconsider himself. How is he going to celebrate the State of the Union when hundreds of thousands of his employees aren't getting paid? Usually, this newsletter aims to explain and analyze the day's news, but when it comes to Rudy Giuliani, I need someone to explain to me what's going on, although I'm not sure he knows himself. Unless he is purposely trying to distract and confuse matters, his constant contradictions on what he knows, what Trump does or does not remember, and what the law is, are dizzying. CNN is reporting that the Mueller probe is looking into the Trump campaign's dealing with the NRA. In a somewhat convoluted way, this raises another possibility of Russian influence during the 2016 election. The NRA had come under scrutiny for spending more than $30 million on Trump's behalf and for its ties to Russian nationals, including Maria Butina. Accused of being a Russian spy, she pleaded guilty to engaging in a conspiracy against the U.S., admitting she tried to use the NRA as a way to infiltrate Republican circles and influence U.S. relations with Russia. However, reports are that none of the written questions posed by Mueller to Trump addressed the NRA. The Supreme Court was busy today. In a 5-4 decision, it allowed the Trump administration to enforce its limits on transgender people serving in the military while the case makes its way through the lower courts. The court also agreed to take up its first guns right case in 9 years, a challenge to New York City's ban on people carrying licensed, locked, and unloaded handguns when they were traveling outside the city. And Dreamers may be safe for another year after the court decided not to review the Trump decision to end DACA. Increasing fears of a global economic slowdown snapped Wall Street's 4-day winning streak. The three major indexes dropped by more than 1% after the IMF forecast of weaker growth in the world economy. The tech-heavy NASDAQ plunged almost 2%, but tech stocks might get a shot in the arm because after the markets had closed, IBM reported stronger than expected earnings and revenue. Its stock price has since been up as much as 7%. Trump tweeted that he's told Sarah Huckabee Sanders not to bother holding press briefings anymore. He argued that the media covers her rudely and inaccurately and that the word gets out anyway. Already, formal briefings have mostly become a thing of the past. Instead of being an almost daily event, not even one has been held this year. I believe that transparency should dictate the need for the White House to answer questions from the media. But there's no doubt the briefings have become a circus, and for that, the behavior of both the media and the White House deserve blame. Covington Catholic High School in Kentucky kept its doors closed today to ensure students' safety after the controversy involving students who attended an anti-abortion rally in Washington. Initial reports, based on limited video, portrayed the students as bad guys, seemingly taunting an older Native American. A very different view emerged once other videos appeared, showing members of a group calling itself the Black Hebrew Israelites taunting everyone, insulting the students and the Native Americans. In our alternate universes segment, the great divide between conservative and liberal media, the BuzzFeed and Covington, Kentucky debacles are illustrative of the disease that's affecting or infecting our media, where both sides are immediately all over any story that supports their chosen narrative, even if the facts are flimsy. BuzzFeed and Covington should remind everyone in the media of a lesson we all should have learned in school or early in our careers. Do not jump to conclusions without having all the facts. We have all those stories and much more updated around the clock 7 days a week on newsandnews.com, where you will find all you need to know in one place. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the right of your screen just below this video. Please follow us on Facebook at Real News and News, and follow me on Twitter at AMoraTV. I'll see you again tomorrow.